Rowdynationtv, welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor, guys. Click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so anytime I drop a video, you guys can be notified. Today, guys, we are talking boxing. Now, I hope we can talk some boxing today without being tribal, because boxing can be very tribal. We go for whoever we like to go for, right? For whatever reason, you know, whatever reason it may be, we like the person that we like. Now, we're on the verge of having another undisputed champion at a 147-pound division. And that fight should take place before the end of the year. If we can get that fight between Errol the Truth Spence Jr. and Terrance the Bud Crawford. Those are the two reigning champions at the 147-pound division. Errol the Truth Bud Spence holds 3 of the 4 sanctioning belts. Now, with Terrance Bud Crawford holding the last remaining belt. So you have 4 belts to become undisputed. Errol the Truth Bud Spence holds 3, and Terrance Bud Crawford holds 1. So, I got up this morning and I was on the internet, and I was not trolling, but I was on the internet, and as I was going through these different channels, I came across this guy who actually named his channel after Terrance Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. And he named it. You can tell obviously he's a Terrance Bud Crawford fan, and that I have no problem with that. I'm a Errol Spence fan, and so hopefully we can all talk boxing on this channel right here. I really don't do a lot of boxing talk, but after I seen this video this morning, I thought that I would touch on it, because I think that right now that we live in the world of spin, and it was kind of crazy how this guy spent this narrative about Errol the Truth Spence Jr. And I was listening to him, and he was, I could tell that he was a Crawford fan, but he said that if you say anything, that the fans, he's talking about the fans, that if he say one thing bad about Errol Spence, that the fans would get all emotional, and just would get in, in a big hoopla. They just cause a big stir up. If you can't say anything bad about Errol Spence without his fans, getting all emotional. And I said I disagree with that, right? For the simple fact that not only did you not say one thing bad or disparaging about Errol Spence, you named your whole channel after Errol Spence getting beat by Terrance Bud Crawford. That is literally the name of this guy's channel. You know what I mean? Terrance Crawford beats Easy Route Spence. That's the name of this guy's channel. So I left a comment on his channel. I said, yo, if Errol Spence wins that fight, what are you going to name your channel? He told me that there's no way that Errol Spence is going to win that fight. I agree to disagree, right? I have no problem with that. Me personally, I'm going into this fight knowing that this is a 50-50 fight. That's why it's like the fight of the decade. Not even the decade, one of the most anticipated fights in the last 40 years since Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hitman Hearns. And, I was a young kid back then when that fight was out, and that was one of the greatest boxing matches ever. And I think that solidified Sugar Ray Leonard's greatness and Thomas Hitman Hearns, because it was just one of those fights that you can never forget. It's going to go down in history as one of the best fights, right? So, me coming into this fight that may happen or may not happen, we hope that it does. I'm pretty sure that it will before the end of the year. I agree that it's a 50-50 fight. I know with the little boxing experience that I have, that Terrance Crawford came up from 135 pounds all the way up to 147 pounds, beating people, becoming a champion. He's, like I say, I believe he's 38-0. And I can't remember how many losses. I'll check here in just a second. But I know he's 38-0. He's undefeated, right? And so is Errol Spence. Errol Spence is undefeated. So you have 2 undefeated fighters. They're both in their prime. I believe one's 32 and one's 35. And like I said, they both have belts, no losses. Somebody's has got to go, as they say, right? But me being a realistic boxing fan, I know that this is a 50-50 fight. as far as, hey, if you look at all the tangibles that each person has, it's like 50-50. But now boxing is a business, right? And we call it prize fighting, right? So this guy, I think he's a walking contradiction because he named his channel Terrance Beat Easy Route Spence. Well, let me break it down to you people. Before I even heard of Terrance Bud Crawford, I was already riding with Errol Spence, right? He hadn't had a belt. He was going across the pond to London to fight Kell Brook, who at that time at 147 pounds was the beast of that division. So he went across the pond and he fought and he got that belt. And when he got that belt, before he even got that belt, I believe Keith Thurman had belts, and he was begging Keith Thurman for a fight. Keith Thurman wouldn't even mention that man's name, right? And they're on the same side of the fence. So, you know what I'm saying? Both of these fighters are from PBC. And this brother would not give Errol Spence a chance, a young up-and-coming fighter, a chance at the belt, talking about he needed more experience. Okay, so here you go. He goes across the pond. He gets that belt. Fights in front of like 40,000 people. He takes that belt and he brings it back home. So now he has one belt, right? Now, in the meantime, he has a car accident. No, I take that back. He doesn't have a car accident. In the meantime, he's coming up. He's doing this thing. Your boy, Terrance Crawford, is in the 140-pound division, and he's wiping them out. But some of the people that he's wiped out, I don't even know. I know John Molina. I know Henry Lundy. But Ndongo, I never knew who he was when he got that belt. I didn't know who he was. And I think he knocked out Ndongo and took that belt in like 6 rounds. Well, okay, that's fine and dandy. But then your boy Regis Program, when he came up to 140, he dispatched Ndongo in like 2 or 3 rounds. So who's to say? So the argument I'm trying to say is, they try to bring that up. Well, look how Terrance Crawford did Sean Porter. He knocked Sean Porter out, whereas with Spence, it went the distance, right? He only knocked Sean Porter down, and that's what solidified that fight for him. I didn't think the fight was that close between Sean Porter and Errol the Truth Spence Jr. Before the simple fact that he went into his wheelhouse and he fought Sean Porter the way Sean Porter likes to fight, that rough, rugged, and raw. And I'm going to be honest with you people, I never really was a big fan of the Sean Porter style. The most that I liked about Sean Porter was that he was a rugged journeyman who would fight anybody at any given time. I respect Sean Porter for that. But as far as the sweet science and the skill set, I really didn't like it because he looked like a football player. The way he fights, it just reminds me, and come to find out, he has a football background. Okay? So, and plus, I believe his father and his trainer used to coach Errol Spence during the amateurs, or it may have been during the Olympic days, right? So Sean Porter always had a chip on his shoulder because he always thought his father favored Errol Spence. I believe that personally. I've watched some videos, and I think that's totally been confirmed. So you know how you have. So that was Sean Porter's Super Bowl right there. That fight, when Sean Porter fought Errol Spence, that's the best fight of his life, the best fight of his career, because he had something to prove to his father. And, you know, he wanted to prove something to his father, so he got up for that fight. He had a belt at the time of that fight. So he had something to prove. He had something to defend also. He was defending his belt, and he had something to prove to his father. But, so that was the best he ever was going to fight in his career. And he did that night, and he still lost that fight. Now, fast forward, 2 years later, Crawford fights him. He has no belt. I believe he had a kid. I think he got married. And I think he was already had his podcast or was about to start a podcast. But he was already doing his TV anchorman. So he wasn't fully committed to boxing at that time as far as I'm concerned. And then when his father threw the towel in, he wasn't knocked out. The fight was stopped. He wasn't knocked out. The man could have got up and defended that. Go out on your shield. He did not go out on his shield. And also, I heard that him and Terrance Bud Crawford have some kind of friendship. I'm not sure how close they are, but there's some kind of friendship there because Terrance Bud Crawford came on his podcast not too long after the fight. Now let's get back. So that's why I'm saying you can't, it's like oranges and apples, right? It's like oranges and apples. So when this guy gets on there and he names his channel Terrance beats Easy Route Spence, how did he beat Easy Route Spence? So the people that he beat, that he fought at 140, like I said, Julius Ndongo, Henry Lundy, John Molina, okay, they're okay, but can any of those guys hold a candle to Errol Spence? There's nobody on Terrance Crawford's resume that Errol Spence can't beat. That he can't beat. There's nobody. Right? Now, I heard that Ugas beat Crawford in the amateurs. The amateurs and the pros are totally different. I get that. But I'm just saying, if I were to go by what other people say, you see what I'm saying? If I were to go by what other people say, now, I was already an Errol Spence fan at the time that Crawford was doing all this amazing work down at the 140-pound class. Now he moves up after he beat those people, right? He moves up. He's still with Bob Arum, who he's now suing, his promoter, who he's now suing. He moves up. Pacquiao is at 147. He's at 147, right? So why didn't Bob Arum get him that fight? Why didn't Bob Arum give Terrance Crawford that fight? These are both their stable mates, right? He didn't talk the type of stuff that he's talking about the PBC to Bob Arum until later. I heard crickets from him around the time that Pacquiao, they let Pacquiao go down to Australia and fight Jeff Horn. Pacquiao goes down to Australia. Instead of giving Terrance Crawford that fight, he lets him go down to Australia and fight Jeff Horn in front of 60,000 people where Pacquiao gets cheated out of that belt. We all know, if you've seen that fight, Pacquiao won that fight. I don't care what nobody say. Pacquiao won that fight. The man cheated him. Jeff Horn gets the belt. Now, Crawford comes up, and that's when he gets his chance at the belt to fight Jeff Horn, a substitute teacher, who really didn't win that fight from Pacquiao. I am not trying to demean any of Terrance Bud Crawford's accomplishments. But Easy Route Spence, you got your belt from a substitute teacher. But you're going to talk stuff about Easy Route Spence? That he took the easy route? That's spin, brother. That is spin. Go check that brother's channel out. Terrance Bud beats Easy Route Spence. That's the name of that brother's channel. If you are a Terrance Bud Crawford fan, you should go check that channel out because you'll probably love him. But I swear to God, the man is a walking contradiction. He'll say one thing and then he'll be like, okay, well, I can't. Man, come on, man. You named your channel. Terrance Bud Crawford beats Easy Route Spence. That's not hating on Spence. You're saying that this man has no chance against Terrance Bud Crawford, and you're trying to just awaken people. Brother, you are delusional. You're not giving this man no respect. He had to go get 3 belts. I got 3 belts and you got 1. That's just common sense. Who did all the lifting? If I got 3, if I pick up 3 and you pick up 1, who did all the lifting? So now, like I said before, besides the skill sets, yeah, 50-50. But when we get down to prize fighting, because we're fighting for a prize. If I picked up all the work and did all the labor, and what did I say I was going to do? I was going to clean up my side of the street. I was going to fight everybody on my side of the street because you're with Bob Arum. That's a different promoter, a different network, all that, right? So there's a lot of things that you have to go through to get to that. Whose network is it going to be on, right? See, now we're getting this fight because He's a free agent, and now he's suing his promoter. That's the only reason we get in this fight. He's been calling for this fight for the last 2-3 years. That is true. Yes, he's been calling for this fight for the last couple years. But you come up from 140. Now, I already got a plan. You come up from 140, get your belt from the substitute teacher. Now, all of a sudden, I'm supposed to change my whole plans? No, I'm going to keep on. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. I'm a man of my word. I said I'm going to clean up my side, and then I'm going to come after you. Now, we all seen what he did to Ugas, the guy who beat Terrance Crawford in the amateurs. We all seen what Errol Spence did to Ugas. Apparently, broken orbital, broken nose, fractured rib, right? Those were the injuries this man sustained in that ring. Ugas is a true warrior. He wanted to keep going. But, man, they had to stop it, man. You can't fight with a broken orbital. He was about to kill that man in that ring. Take a look at this picture. You see that picture. Don't play like you don't see it, right? Now, what did the man do after he won that fight? What did he say? Listen, I'm going to try to put it up here. What did he say? That's right. He said, I'm finna, now that he done cleaned the belt up, I'm finna go get Terrance Bud shit. I'm finna go get that belt too. Excuse my language. I don't mean to be cussing like that. But he said he was going to clean his side of the street up, and then he was going to go get that other belt, right? I don't understand why people, the hate for Errol Spence is so strong, right? I was telling my friend of mine that we got a bet. It's a bet at my job. Okay, here's another thing. Your boy, he's a Crawford fan. I'm a Spence fan, right? Now, if we want this to be the biggest fight ever, right, which is going to be, it's going to be like the biggest fight since Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns or Marvin Hagler. It's that type of fight, right? Now, Errol Spence Jr. has a relationship with Jerry Jones at the Dallas Stadium, right? Big place where they can seat so many people, right? You can just seat, man, you can get the gate alone, and man, they'll break gate records because they have the room in Dallas Stadium. It's $1 billion stadium, right? Errol Spence has a relationship with him. They can have the fight right there in Dallas in that big old stadium. Man, so many people want to fight in that stadium. All of a sudden, this man been running and dodging, talking about Errol Spence been running and dodging and won't do this and won't do that. But now he's like signed the contract. I done cleaned up my side of the street. Let's fight. Now, I haven't heard Errol Spence say this, but in my mind, I'm like, man, if they do the fight, they can fight there at Dallas Stadium, right? You can get all those people in. You can get the gate in. This man talking about he want 50-50. If you want 50-50, now this is common sense, right? Listen to me, people. 50-50. But you want to fight in a small-ass arena in Vegas where the gate you can't exceed more than the gate would be in Dallas, Texas. You want to fight in Vegas. Okay, if I was really stern, I'd be like, man, I got 3 belts. I'm the one holding 3 belts. If I in my negotiations, if I really want to be just be stern about it, nah, I'm fighting in Dallas. I want my fans to see me become undisputed. But no, your boy Bomac and his manager. I think they said Bomac, his trainer, is his manager, right? And not the best manager-trainer combination, I could say. I'm just saying, because if it was, he wouldn't be suing Bob Arum right now if Bomac was such a good manager, right? But I'm saying, you so confident Terrance beat Easy Route Spence channel. You so confident, tell your man to go down to Dallas and fight in the Dallas Stadium then. So they can get that gate, so they can, if he want 50-50. But no, you want to 50-50, half of the money. We all know that your pay-per-view sales is nothing like Errol Spence. See, we can talk about this all day because I'm a boxing fan, but I really don't do a lot of it on my channel. But when I got up this morning and I seen this delusional talk, this world of spin that guy is trying to create on his channel, man, I had to come and say something because I'm a boxing fan first. I like Terrance Bud Crawford. I like Errol Spence. When Errol Spence got in that car crash and I knew that alcohol was involved, I said, first of all, thank God that man is safe. Thank God that, that that he wasn't taken away from his family. That's first. Boxing and everything else can stop. Aside from that, thank God that man is safe. But did you know what Terrance Crawford and his team did? They ridiculed that man. They dogged that man, called him a bunch of alcoholics. Bomac, Terrance Crawford's trainer, he said Errol Spence wasn't dedicated to his craft. Now, I was disappointed to hear that alcohol was involved in that car crash. I was. Errol Spence is a young man. And which anybody out there who's listening to this, tell me when you haven't made a mistake. When you haven't done something when you were young and you did something that was out of your character or that was just, you're young and you were coming up and you were partying with your friends and you did something stupid. We all have. But for this man to go and get on there and talk bad about this brother when he could have almost lost his life and still talk down to him, that's a different kind of cruelty, right? That's a different kind of mean to me. I'm just saying, bro. Every time I listen to Errol Spence's team and his trainer talk, they never said anything personal about Terrance Bud Crawford. Never. But you listening to, man, over in that camp, and I'm going to tell you what it was, man. They was jealous because the PBC was getting all the shine. Because they told them, come to our side. You can fight, come over here. All the talent is over here. No, this man, I don't want to, man, this man wanted to stay stuck up under Bob Arum, right? He was satisfied. Bob Arum could not give him the fights that he needed, so I believe he gave him a contract. Every time he fights, he gets $3 million, I think it's for. He can fight tomato cans, and he'll still get $3 million. That was good enough for him and his team. That's what Bomac, I guess if that's his manager, that's what they negotiated. While meantime, the PBC fighters are getting $5-6 million. They're doing tournaments. I can fight this person, that person. To be honest with you, Terrance Bud Easy Route Spence challenge, if they really wanted to be petty, they can freeze him out. But he don't want to freeze him out. That's the warrior in Spence. He wants to fight him. He wants to prove to the world, to your channel, to Sugar Ray Leonard, to all the legends who was just at that induction at the Hall of Fame who talked down on Errol Spence. Gas, homeboy. That ain't nothing but gas. He using that. I know it'll be gas for me, and I know it's gas for him, because you people always talk about that alcoholic car crash, the eye, the retina, and all that stuff. And every time he comes back from all this down talk on his name, he just does. I feel sorry for the opponent, because every time you keep talking, y'all gonna talk y'all boy into something that he ain't gonna be ready for. Switch. Oh, that switch hit. He a southpaw. That switching ain't gonna work with him, bro. I'm gonna tell you. Here's my breakdown. Terrance Crawford wins the fight, counterpunching, staying away, getting away, counterpunching, tag, hit. Mayweather style, Mayweather-ish. You would have to win like that. But your boy's problem is, Terrance Bud Crawford's problem is, when he gets hit, he a warrior. He want to bang. He a dog. He's a dog. But you got another dog. It's like when you go to that junkyard. Oh, damn, that's a big-ass dog in that junkyard. Oh, yeah, that motherfucker, he bad. That dog bad, yeah. But you didn't go to the back of the yard. You didn't go all the way back to the gate where people be trying to jump the gate. That's where that other dog is at. That's Spence. That's where that big dog is at. See what I'm saying? Yeah. But like I said before, I seen that dude. He's a walking contradiction, and that's why I had to get on this channel and just say something about that, man. Bro, be reasonable. Don't lie to the people, man. If you're going to talk boxing reasonable, bro. This dude is talking about, oh, man, this man going to get in there. Who? Antonio Tarver. All my boxing fans, y'all know who Antonio Tarver is. The one who had the war with Roy Jones Jr. Y'all remember that? Chocolate ass Antonio Tarver, the one who got busted 3 times, I think they say 2 or 3 times for steroids, for cheating. Him. He said that Spence will only last 6 rounds. And then Roy Jones said some more stupid. I think Roy Jones said some 7, 8, 9. Man, Roy, this ain't the age of the chicken dance, bro. You delusional. Both you brothers done got hit one too many times. I can see this little dude from Philly with his little channel talking the little stuff that he talking, which is delusional. But you guys are legends who have been inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think y'all hating on Spence for some reason. I don't know what that reason is, but y'all hating on that brother, and I can see it. I can hear it in your voice, especially Antonio Tarver. Roy Jones is a little bit more reasonable, but Antonio Tarver, he reminds me of me. He got that dog. Man, shut up, man. You ain't had no skill set like Terrance Bud Crawford. Terrance Bud Crawford's skill set is way beyond your years, homeboy. And that's why I say, man, I give respect where respect due. This is going to be a great, amazing fight. Listen to me, people. Don't let nobody come over here and blind y'all out your. Don't let that man on that other channel make you put up all your money thinking that this dude ain't got a chance. That's all I'm saying. Rowdynationtv, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so anytime I drop a video, you can be notified. We out.